how we go about our business overseas, and like just how our theory on interventionalism versus isolationism also in a way. So for isolationism, that's pretty much more staying to ourselves in foreign conflicts, things of that sort, and just kind of like looking at us first in a way to where it's just, we're not gonna really step foot into that. Where interventionalism is what we've been practicing the last few years, having stations in Iraq and other places overseas, like Afghanistan and the sort. And on this position here, I think I am for us being interventionalist in a way, even though I'm anti-colonialism, the way the U.S. has done in the past years and as such on how we got to this point. But for the case of intervention, I understand where we're at as far as the fear of terrorism and being proactive in that sense, to where because of 9/11 and whatever happened here or there with that situation, but I think it keeps us proactive and it fights in the step of counterterrorism as far as to make sure something like that doesn't happen again. And it keeps us in being like overseas in places, keeps us in range to help our neighbors from Al-Qaeda, which is one of the main like threats we're going against now. And it prevents certain groups from taking power in those areas and what that presents as far as like Taliban opposing, like just their terror in general and just like some of their ideals, whether that's opposing women's rights, religious tolerance, and other progressive issues that while they do oppress like those places while they're in. I mean, that's like a cultural take, but at the same time, it's like we're kind of in defense of that, like just group in general, not like those certain things, but just that group in general. And the life expectancy, like something to we can look at too in our place in somewhere such as Afghanistan. We can look at the life expectancy growing from 42 years in 2004 to 60 in 2010, which still isn't great in comparison to the U.S., but it's went up in a short amount of time. And yeah, I say if we focus solely on us, could we really stand on our own principles of freedom and justice that we say we're all about here, even though we haven't lived up to in a way? But like, can we really say that we stand on those principles while we see ethnic cleansing and other war crimes going on like around us in those places? Like, can we sit here and be about that and watch that go on somewhere else? But I understand the business of like world trade and stuff like that. But if we have to also look out for our business interests in that system, because here we rely on international trade as far as where you see these pencils being made, shoes, clothes, like a lot of stuff that makes America great. As far as like what people think makes us great from other countries' view is like just all that we have here, and like the kind of like certain life that we've kind of branded on screen that people can kind of look at to see. It's because of international like trade and people of all around the area. And I just think enemies can set up bases where we leave if we were to pull back people, and it doesn't go away if we leave at the same time too. And that's just kind of like where I stand on that point. But I understand that it's tough.
Well, I mean, I think I see what you're saying, Rod, but at the end of the day, being this, overbearing, aggressive nation, is not good for the long run. And where I'm going with that is, when do we stop? You know what I mean? Because here we are, we've been in Afghanistan for what, 20 years or something, I think.
Coming up on
We coming up on Iraq almost 20 years too. So when does the conquest stop? It's not. And I got some facts here that'll tell you, like, it's never been about, oh, those people are suffering, we need to help them. It's been about, how can we use this to make a profit? You know what I mean? When you start talking about profit, you're talking about military-industrial complex. You can't make money making bombs if you're not dropping bombs, right? Because now it's just more bombs sitting around. Ain't nobody gonna buy them no more. But if you keep blowing bombs up, you need more. And that provides a lot of jobs here in the U.S. working at Raytheon and Honeywell and all those defense companies and stuff like that. So, they have a plant or some sort of constituency in every state. So if you cut out the wars, what's that gonna do? That's gonna hurt the profit and the working class of America, right? So I don't want to hear the whole, we're the moral authority of the world and we gotta help everybody. That's a load of crap. You know what I mean?
Quick thing. We said Iraq has been since 2003. They've been there since 2003, and Afghanistan has been since 1999. So you're basically it's too long.
22 years.
A long time.
22 long. So America has this obsession with itself of thinking that we're just better. We're just better than everybody, and we have to be the moral authority of the world. We have to be the one passing out swift judgment. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, all we're doing by doing that is self-serving. You know what I mean? We went into Iraq and Afghanistan. We create our own problems. Like you're saying, terrorism, right? Oh, we gotta fight terrorism. We gotta go there so we can stop them from coming over here. Okay, well think about it. The reason why terrorism is really a problem in the Middle East is because of us in the first place. You can go all the way back to 1953 in Iran, where we literally overthrew a democratically elected leader in Iran because he wasn't friendly to us with his oil. So we said, okay, well, we're gonna overthrow him. We're gonna put somebody in there that's gonna be friendly with us. And like we executed this plan from top to bottom. Like overthrow him, put in this puppet dude. He's gonna be nice to us and give us his oil. You know what? We'll even give them a printing press for the money. The only one to ever leave the country went to Iran because we were so friendly with him. So the fact of the matter being that everything that we do is not about all the people are suffering over there. It's about, okay, how can we use this to help ourselves? We are best friends with Saudi Arabia. Why? The oil, right? We're best friends with Saudi Arabia. We give them sweetheart deals on weapons and all, and aid and all that type of stuff to them because we want their oil. But they practice what is called Wahhabism, which is an extreme form of Islam over there. And what they do is you can be beheaded. You could be caned in the street for making, small mistakes. Like women, I think they allow women to drive now, but like for a long time, you couldn't even get behind the wheel of a car as a woman, and they still got oppressive. I mean, it's really oppressive over there. And we're best friends with them. But then we're gonna go and say, Saddam Hussein's a brutal dictator, and Osama bin Laden, to the people that Osama bin Laden was fighting with, they thought he was a freedom foe, or USSR at that time, USSR and America. We helped Osama. We gave Osama money to fight the USSR in Afghanistan. So then he turns around, he's like, well, we don't really like you either. You know what I mean? We appreciate the help, but now you done train my men. I know how to fight. So y'all need to go and kick rocks. And now there you go. The Taliban in there. We still fighting the Taliban 22 years later. Why? It doesn't make any sense. We create our own problems by intervening. We need to stay to ourselves. If there's a humanity crisis, we should never act unilaterally. We should always say we should go to NATO. We should go to the United Nations, and we should say, hey, this is going on in this country. Let's all put together a force and let's go in there, so it's not just us acting unilaterally and ruining an area that we have no idea it's like.
Mm-hmm. Nah, I get that, man, but at the same time, like I was saying before, because we withdraw our presence there doesn't mean some other stuff isn't gonna take form somewhere else because of our vacated spot. And I feel like with some of those points you were making, as far as just our moral authority kind of pressing on to those other places, it's not like there's always gonna be give and take with all those other things. Like we have good relationships with the people that we do trade with, whether it's for the oil and things of that nature. I mean, it's scratching the back to scratch another, but in return, like you said, it does sometimes point back at us to where we're over here responding to something else that we created along the way. But at the same time, you got niggas stuff that we saved along the way though, and pursuit of that, and there's been collateral damage on other sides, this stuff that happens independent of us, but at the same time, I get we're the biggest gun, we got the biggest shield, and all those other things.
And think about it.
It's just
the reason why those nations are so hostile to us. Imagine if outside your door at home, it was somebody with a big stick just waving out there, because they got bases all in the Middle East, right? It's somebody out there just waving a stick, waiting for you to come out the house. He like, I wish you would walk out this house. You don't think you're gonna be a little aggressive to him? You don't think you're gonna have some sort of pent up aggression and resentment to him? Dude, get out of my country. You waving this big gun at me, I feel uncomfortable, and I'm at home, and I shouldn't feel uncomfortable at home. I should feel completely comfortable. This is my home. Why are you waving this big stick at me? But I'm just supposed to sit there and accept it.
But if it wasn't us, would it be their own leaders in the way that they govern the country as well to have us in?
No, because as I just brought up to you, in 1953, Iran had a democratically elected official that they voted for to put into office.
Right.
Then guess what? We went in, dispatched him, put in the puppet dude, and the country the country, the Ayatollah Khomeini, he did a whole religious awakening and made them more radical than it was before that. So now the country is more radical because we went in and ruined it. We went in and ruined the whole Middle East, like the Yemen civil war, Saudi Arabia over there bombing civilians, right? We killed over 200,000 Iraqi civilians. That's not even just like soldiers. That's people from just bombing. Do they lives have any meaning? Stay out of other people's countries unless there's a human. Look, you know what's going on. All kind of human rights violations going on in North Korea. Are we fighting North Korea? That's probably one of the worst, if not the worst, human rights violations going on right now. Are we going over there and trying to save them?
I mean,
no.
That's tension right there, though. At the same time, it's not, I mean, we're not over there yet. I mean, that's the thing. Like,
this has been going on for 30 years, right?
30 years.
These people been oppressed. These people don't even know. These people can't even watch news, bro. You telling me, but we're the moral authority. If there's something wrong, we should go attack it. But not that one though. Not them. There's no oil over there. They got oil. Let's go help them. You know what I'm saying? It's just self-serving and it's bull. If somebody attacks us, let's go. You know, even if we got intel that tells us somebody's gonna attack us, okay, then let's dispatch it and find a way to deal with it, right? But don't just go over in the countries bombing them. Like you just can't do that, man. It takes the humanity out of humanity. You know what I mean?
I totally get it. Like, as far as where we're at today with something like the tech and stuff, I mean, they're trying to make it more precise, but at the same time, there's been collateral along the way that we have a lot of blood in our hands for. But when you look at it, man, like, at this point, we're in just the stage in the loop of, like, where we're at. Like, I feel like we do need to stop, like, in a way. We have to get to a conclusion at some point, whatever that looks like, but in just the stakes that we're in, like, I kind of look at a Wire quote from Slim Charles on there saying, like, we're at war, and if we fighting on a lie, we fighting on a lie. Like, at the same time, like, just cause, like, if we back down or we stand down, something else is gonna come up in a different kind of form. Like, I mean, that last part wasn't a quote, but you know what I'm saying?
But I don't know, man. You gotta look at it.
We
are violating human rights.
Like, in the 50s, the way we were governing at home, of course, we had horrible international deals too. So it's just like,
but we're violating human rights. You know what I mean? Like, the whole thing is to stop human rights, right? We should intervene
at home and abroad at that point.
But check it out. I mean, in the 50s, now there's under international law. We are violating international law by having illegal sanctions on Venezuela and Iran. We're putting sanctions on medical supplies. So it's people who might have diabetes over there, and we're working with other countries to make sure that certain medicines and medical equipment stuff aren't getting there. So people are there suffering and dying because what? Because we want them to overthrow their leader, right? Instead of going over there guns blazing, we're trying to get the people to overthrow their leader. That's all it comes down to, so that we can get control of that area. That's it. Like, it all comes down to self-serving. Like, you are literally creating human rights problems by sanction, and that is so messed up, dog. Like, people are dying because of it.
It's really messed up.
That's foul. And stay at home. Just stay at home.
But can we afford to?
Can't we all just get along? I think the people that start wars should have to fight each other. Like, so Trump should have to go over there and fight the leader of Iran. He should have to go over there and fight him. Bush should have had to do it. They should have a bare knuckle boxing match with Saddam Hussein before he went to it. That's how we gonna settle out this.
And Bush was
y'all fight.
Teeth knocked loose.
Big
Bush and
Saddam had
hands. Big Bush and Baby Bush would have got knocked out. Daddy. You can't hit my daddy like that.
Big Terry Rozier said it best, man. Osama should have been hooping. Dude was like 6'6".
Osama was 6'6".
Osama was like 6'5", 6'6", bro.
Oh, he was out there. Oh, he was out here.
He should have been working on his mid-range game.